A very good morning everyone. I am Dr. Suman, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. So in the last lecture we started the industrial engineering, clear, and after in this we discussed what do you mean by the industrial engineering, and then we discussed about the history and development of the industrial engineer. After that we discussed about what is the role of an industrial engineer, and then we started the production and the productivity. So there, what is the difference between the production and the productivity? What are the factors that affect the productivity? So today in today's lecture we are going to start a term that is the productivity measurement. Okay, how we can measure the productivity, clear? So how we define the productivity? We define the productivity as it is a measure of the efficiency of the production. Okay, and the measure of productivity is defined as a total output per unit of total input, clear? And this productivity measurement must show a linkage with the profitability, clear? Now we have classified this productivity measure into the 4 classes, clear? First is the single factor productivity measurement. The second one is the multi-factor productivity measurement. Then we have the total factor productivity measurement, and the last one is the total productivity model. So we will discuss all these measurements one by one in detail. So in this diagram you can see that if we talk about the partial factor productivity, okay, in case of the partial factor productivity we have taken only one input, okay, like in this case we are taking the input as the labor, means we are measuring the productivity against a specific input, that is the labor, or we can measure the productivity against the capital input. Means in case of the partial factor productivity we are considering only single input factor, but in case of the total productivity factor we are taking 2 input factors. For example, we have taken here the labor and the capital, clear? We have taken, but in case of the multi-factor productivity we have taken more than 2 input factors. So we are calculating the productivity or we are measuring the productivity against 4 input factors here, and these input factors are capital, labor, energy and material, clear? Okay. So how we will define the single factor productivity measurement? So we can say it is a measure of the output against the specific input, clear? And partial productivity is concerned with the efficiency of one class of input, and it will signify or we can say its significance lies in its focus on the utilization of one resource, clear? So we can say SFPM. SFPM is single factor productivity measure. So we can see in this diagram, in this formula, that in case of the single factor productivity measurement we have calculated output against a particular input factor, that is the labor input, clear? Or we can calculate the productivity measure in terms of the material input or the capital input. Means we are focusing on only one input, clear? So in this way we can define the single factor productivity measure. If we talk about the advantages of this particular productivity measure, so it is easy in obtaining relevant data and it is easy to comprehend, clear? And we can say it is a good diagnostic measure to identify the areas of improvement by evaluating the inputs separately across the output. Okay, means here the chances against a particular input factors are maximum. But if we talk about the disadvantages of this measurement, then it does not reflect the overall performance of a enterprise. Clear? Because we are measuring the output against a particular input. Clear? Okay. Now we come to the multi-factor productivity measurement, or we can say MFPM. So it is a measurement model that considers the labor, material and energy as a major inputs. And here the capital was deliberately left out. Why? Because it is most difficult to estimate how much capital is being consumed per unit time. Clear? So we can say that multi-factor productivity measurement is the ratio of the output to a group of inputs, such as labor, machine and the energy. Or it can be the output, and here we can have the labor, energy and material. Clear? So this is the multi-factor productivity measure. If we talk about the advantage of this productivity measurement, then it considers the intermediate inputs of a business, because it is considering more than one input factor, and measures technical change in an industry. It will measure the technical changes that are taking place. Clear? And if we talk about the disadvantages of this particular measurement model, then it is difficult in obtaining all the inputs. Clear? And it is there is difficulty in communicating inter-industry linkage and aggregations. Clear? Then we come to the total factor productivity measurement, or composite factor productivity measurement, or we can say TFP. Okay. So this particular measurement model has taken only labor and capital as the two input factors. Clear? And in an effort to improve the productivity of the labor, the company may install more machinery, and then productivity of labor will go up, bringing down the capital productivity. Clear? So we can define the TFP is equal to the net output divided by labor plus capital as the input factors. So we have considered only the two input factors here, labor and the capital. Okay. Now we will discuss the advantages of this particular model. So it is easy in obtaining the data and to understand, because we are dealing only with the two input factors. So we can easily obtain the data. Clear? And it is easy in understanding also. And there is ease of aggregation across the industries. If we discuss about the disadvantages of this particular model, then it is not a good measure for the technological changes. Okay. And other inputs are ignored. Because we are dealing with only two inputs, that is labor and the capital, means other inputs are ignored in this case. Clear? And the net output does not reflect the efficiency of the production system in a proper way. So these are the disadvantages. Next, we come to the total productivity model, or TPM. So in case of the TPM considered 5 items as the input factors. Clear? And these are the human being, material, capital, energy and the other resources. And this model can be applied in any manufacturing or the service organizations. So we can say that the total productivity is equal to the total tangible output divided by total tangible input. Clear? So what is the tangible output here? tangible outputs are like value of the finished unit produced plus partial units produced, clear, or dividend from the securities, interest from the bonds and the other incomes. So, these will act as the output. And what are total tangible inputs? The inputs will be value of the human input, capital input, material purchased or the energy inputs and other expenses. So, the ratio of these two will give the total productivity. Clear? So, if we discuss about the advantages of this particular model, then all the quantifiable inputs are considered here. Clear? And here the sensitivity analysis can be done, and it will provide both the farmland and operational unit level productivity. Okay. So, here we will it will give the total productivity measurement. Clear? If we discuss about the disadvantages, then data is difficult to compute, because here we are considered more than we can say their number of inputs are involved here. So, it will be difficult to compute. It will be time taken task, and it does not consider the intangible factors of input and output. Clear? Okay. Now, we come to the operational strategies. Okay. So, operational strategies in general term, we can define the operational strategies as a process by which the key operation decisions are made. Clear? And that are consistent with the overall strategic objectives of a firm. Clear? These are the operations strategies. Or the if we discuss about the relevance of operation strategies, then the organizations needs a structural approach to scan the market. If we want to scan the market, if we want to analyze the market, then a systematic approach is needed. Okay, and they also need a mechanism to chalk out a plan for responding to these changes in the most efficient way. Clear? Now, operational strategies basically refer to the methods companies that which they used by them to reach their objectives. Clear? And with the changes in the marketplace, the competitive priorities for an organization must also change, and organizations need to tune their operations to match with the competitive priorities. Clear? And what are the benefits of these operational strategies? So, by developing the operational strategies, a company can examine and implement the effective and efficient system for using the resources, personnel and the work process. So, this is the benefit of using the operational strategies. Okay. Clear? So, if we talk about various operational strategies that are used in an industries, so first is the continual development of the new products and service offerings. So, what is the meaning of it? So, if we talk about the trend in this case, then the single most important thing every company must do is to remain competitive. Okay, or by developing the new product and the services. And if we discuss about the strategies or strategic directions under the continual development of new product or service offering, then we should recognize that other channels or the customers that may have order profiles and requirements that are readily different from our primary channel. Okay, we cannot just sell the product through the different channels without flexibility in the system and the operations. Okay, and these internal processes may readily change our internal procedures and the systems. Okay, so we have to consider all the factors and we have to keep it in mind. Next is optimize the supply chain. Clear? So, under this operational strategy, the trend is over the past 20 years, the product sourcing has relied heavily on the overseas resources for the manufacturing. And rather than viewing the operations as just as warehousing, look at improving the inbound and outbound supply chain to gain the advantages, cost saving, etc. Clear? So, if we talk about the inbound supplies, so push value added services, example ticketing or the packaging, etc. and quality inspection up to the supply chain, and they should reduce cost and minimize the rework. It should minimize the rework and delays in getting the product to the customer or the end users. Clear? And we can establish and enforce the vendor compliance policies or the deadlines. Clear? And gain the visibility into inbound shipments through the EDI or ASN, or establishing the vendor portals to exchange the information about the purchase orders, deliveries, invoices, etc. Clear? This is all about the inbound supplies. If we talk about the outbound supplies, then over the past 10 years, outbound shipping costs have exceeded the total of all other costs, including the management, labor, occupancy, packaging. Okay, and this will require the continual renegotiation with the carriers and the strategic changes in how to position the inventory closer to the customer. Clear? Or address how time to consume customers or shipping cost can be decreased by multi strategies like the zone skipping or last mile delivery options and potentially third party fulfillment to get the packages to the customers faster. Clear? Then we have the increased labor cost or decreased availability. Okay? Labor cost and their availability. So, in this category or in this operational strategy, the trend is the labor basically represent 50% to the 70% of the cost of a processed order, excluding the outbound shipping and the employee benefits. Clear? And during the recession, the qualified labor was available in most areas. And since the economy has improved, the labor quality and the availability in many areas has diminished. Clear? Now, what are the strategic directions under this operational strategies? To increase the productivity, develop the reporting by proposed department. Okay, and increase the feedback to employees so that they can understand our goals. Or we can develop the career path planning with the employees to reduce the cost of hiring the new employees. Or we can consider the implementing of an incentive system to increase the output. Clear? Then bridging the gap or bridging the manager talent gap. So in this strategy, the trend is over the past 15 years or more, as we assist the recruiting new managers, okay, we continually find that there are a limited number of experienced multi-channel manager for the operations, inventory, IT or other departments. So strategic directions for this is that develop your current managers and retain them. Work out what each one needs to become effective and find the local and online educational resources, or develop the internal company-based topics in area like inventory, accounting, productivity and the employee management. Clear? Now, the next strategy is managing the inventory. So, in this strategy, the trend is basically historically the inventory has been the largest balance sheet assets in most companies, and shipping from the multiple warehouses and stores require the significant increase in the inventory levels to service multi-channel customers while reducing the back orders and the overstocks. Clear? So, the strategic direction for managing inventory is for omni-channel retailers to make the money. They must be able to fulfill the e-commerce or the store orders efficiently or effectively, just as the direct businesses do. And this means that more efficient use of the labors or the customer facing inventory systems and cost effective outbound shipping. Clear? Then we have the cloud and subscription of software models. Okay, so the trend, what will be the trend? The companies have been slow to replace the OMS, ERP and WMS systems because of the investment required. And the cloud and the subscription based system provides the opportunity to change without the investment in on-premise software, in on-premise software. Clear? So, strategic direction under this strategy is consider how the cloud-based system can increase our flexibility and fit into the into our overall plans to improve the productivity. Okay, we can track the DC inventory, or we can manage the labor more effectively, and they will also allow us to eliminate the IT operations responsibilities, and monthly costs are based on the uses, and this gives the companies far more opportunities to replace system. Yeah. Then we have the adopt continuous process improvement. So, in this strategy, basically the trend is for more than 10 years, getting the more productivity and the cost savings has been the mantra of the multi-channel industries. And many companies are running so lean, they cannot adopt the good ideas they are presented with. Like butterflies, we flit from one good ideas or concept to the another. Clear? So, strategic direction is basically the most companies know the importance of the continuous improvement objectives and the teams, and continually review and set the objectives for the system improvement, or the capacity will increase. Okay, capacity increases, and the application of the material handling and improved workflow and the cost reduction. So, these are the strategic direction for this particular operational strategy. Clear? So, that's all for today lecture. In next class, we will study about the liabilities and what are the different types of liabilities in an industry. So, till then, thank you so much.